Welcome to the end of year episode on Rise with Us podcast. My name is Tendai Madume. I've given you at least 8 episodes in 2025 talking about how Africa is rising as a giant, as a sleeping giant. So many times we have thought about how things happen in Africa. The media have kind of stopped portraying Africa in a frame that is not true. So you cannot use that advert anymore of a kid coming out of, I don't know, some dirty water anymore because of social media. Thanks to Mark Zuckerberg. If you are listening to me, Mark, well done. The world is now united. We are now one. We speak in the same volume. We see similar things. We are very thankful of that as native Africans, as people of Ubuntu. We are very proud and very thankful of your work you have done by having social media. Yes, it has its downfall. It's not always good, but when it's come good, it is good by showing the truth of how Africa is rising. This is Rise with Us podcast. My name is Tendai Madume. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. But before we get into the Christmas celebrations and the Happy New Year celebration and the 2026 resolution, I guarantee you I'll be off to the gym very soon. I plan to. But for now, I'm going to talk to you about what we discussed in my episode and also to try and break it down. What is it that I'm trying to portray? I am trying to portray Africa as a developing country, Africa as a land of opportunity, Africa as a motherland. We've always been called a mother. A mother is a very protective person, a loving person. But somehow, we've always been portrayed as a poor people, uncaring, living in trees. That's not true, is it? Stay tuned. I will be right back. Thank you very much for staying tuned. Let's kickstart this episode by reminding ourselves things that we talked about last year. This year, Rise With Us was not about entertainment. We didn't try to look for fans or likes or loves, but we went straight into the truth of why Africa was sleeping, the things that was holding us. We challenged the mindset. We questioned in beliefs. Things that we've been put into us. So many things have been put into us as Africans that we can't happen to shake. We confront pain, fear, silence, and excuse. As we step into 2026, we're going to make things clear. Africa is not sleeping. Africa is waking up. Tonight, we're going to make sure that I give you the information that I've already given you, but I'm going to break episode by episode, reminding you of things we discussed. So as you enter into 2026, it's your choice, it's your option to listen to me more or to start action. We're talking about breaking the chains. We talk about breaking the chains, realizing that the colonial freedom or the independence, it was so called at the time, was not just about the flags, one flag rising and one flag dropping. We realize we remain in bondage. The system was remaining us. The colonial didn't take the education, didn't take the religion, the economic, and the mindset. These things are still colonized when it comes to our continent. The most dangerous chain were not on our bodies, was in our mind. How we meant to think, how we meant to believe. You cannot change your future if your mind is still living in the past. That's what happened to us as Africans. We are trying to move forward, but our mindset is still in the colonial time, in the colonial eras. The difference is we spend most of our time trying to convince the colonial masters that we should eat on the same table, instead of us creating our own table to eat. Until now, we are still trying to convince our colonial masters that because of colonials, Africa is behind. But we are failing to move from those chains and build systems that can work for us. Like I said, it's time we start creating our own tables to eat than spending time fighting to eat at the master's table. I hope you are listening to me. I hope you are hearing me. The mental chains are holding us back. Fear of starting, fear of success, fear of being different, fear of standing out. I've given an example. Remember, I said to you guys during my episode, I said, have you ever realized when one child in a family of 7, 8, 9, 10, one child has break out, God has blessed him. He's actually living well. There's a quick the quick mindset of thinking he has done something for him to be where he is. It can't be just his hard working. He has done something spiritual or some juju, we call it in Africa. That's why instead of asking questions, how did you get there? How did you make it? We start asking different questions. That's what I'm talking about, the mindset. We are failing to move away from the colonial mindset, the wanting to eat on the master's table than the one failing to create your own table to eat with your own people. I hope you are listening to me right now. This is how we are ending 2025. It's a message for you. Change your mindset. You cannot grow if you are still living in your past. If your brains are wired to think of what happened to you last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you will not move forward. The year 2026 will be no different from 2025 for you if you don't change your mindset and live for today and for the future. In episode 2, in part 2, we talk about the doers, the power of starting. I was encouraging people to start. I give an example of myself. In 2024, I started farming in Zimbabwe. And I can tell you right now, I've not even made a penny, so I cannot even tell you, go do farming and you make money. But I've made progress. I've helped people. I have fed families. I've got people who are working me. We're talking almost about 8 to 10 full-time members are working at my farm. Something I'm proud of, something I have done to make sure my people are empowered. So I've taken people who are not working into employment through farming. So if you are in the diaspora and you have the means, you have the money, I start with the means. I didn't start with the money because money is not the object to any business. You have to have the means. Means I'm talking about the mindset, the brain, the wanting to start. Are you a doer? Or you're one of those people who are going to sit on the table and discuss up to 50, 100 episodes and they have not helped even one person. It's all talking. We talked about waiting for perfection. Things cannot be perfect. You have to start. Waiting for approval. So many times we spend time in the wrong places. You go and ask how to start an engineering business in a pub full of friends that you've met, that none of them are engineers. You want to start farming and you go and ask people at the church to pray for you to start farming. To go and hang around farmers. Don't look for approval. Go and start. Do it and do it now. 2026 is your year. I want to hear testimonies. I want to hear people telling me, listen, I've listened to your podcast, Rise With Us, Africa's New Chapter. And I'm inspired. And I hope today you will be inspired. Share this video with your friends. It will help me to grow this channel and also help me to follow my farming channel, Madume Farm. We are based in Rusape in Zimbabwe. Just follow and give us a like. Another thing that is also holding us back is waiting for the right time. You hear so many times people say, I'm waiting for the right time. It's not the right time yet. I've got a very good friend of mine. I'm sure when he listens to this podcast, he's going to say he's talking about me. It's almost 5 years now. He's willing to leave his job so he can start his recruitment company. He's very good in recruiting. He works for a recruit. He works at the university recruiting students, and he's very good at it. And we've been talking and talking and talking until now. We're talking. I guess he's waiting for the right time, but there's never a right time. You just have to start. You don't need confidence to start. You need courage. Africa doesn't lack talent. Africa lacks execution. And when I talk about Africa, I'm talking about black people as a whole. Us black people are very talented, very intelligent, but we just lack execution. We just lack systems that I'll be talking to you very soon about. Unlearning struggles as an identity. That was our episode 3. We addressed the hard truth. We have romanticized suffering. We have made suffering looks good. I've given an example of opening a small shop that sells batteries and case phones and things like that. And you make $1, $2 per day. And you say, I've got a business. I'm going to work. Romanticizing suffering. We've mistaken pain for a purpose. We've glorified a hustle while rejecting systems. I've talked about making sure we have systems that works. If you listen to any African man right now, I'm talking about any African man and woman of today. It could be from Congo, it could be from Zimbabwe, it could be from Angola, it could be from South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana. You name the African country. You name the African country you want. Their issues, their problems really sound similar. Because we are lacking systems. We don't have systems that are there to be benefited and taken by generation after generation after generation. We should learn to produce systems. Burnout is not an honor. We want to work hard. You want to feel like I'm working hard. You don't hear many people saying, I'm working very hard. That's not living. Don't have to work hard. You can work smart and still have the same earnings. The ultimate goal of living and working is about earnings. So you can be sweating and someone can be not sweating, and both of you will be making same money. So why do you have to sweat? Struggle is not African culture. In our culture as Africans, there is no struggle. Because we have never struggled. We never understood what struggle is. We're happy with what we have. We're happy, and we're still happy with what we have. But our colonial masters make sure we understand struggle. We understand poverty. We're not born poor. African was never born poor. None of person in Africa was born poor. Because everything, they keep telling us, the resources of Africa, we are the world's richest continent in terms of resources. That's when they go now. They differentiate it. Your resources under the ground, that's where you are rich. But on this earth, you are poor. That's how they tell you. I want to tell you that struggle is not a culture. It's inherited trauma. And trauma can be healed. We can unshackle ourselves. We can walk away from that trauma. All we just need is to clear our mind. See things clear. Open our mind. Think and be progressive as an African. I'm talking to you and me. The 2026 as it comes, I want to hear the testimonies of growth, the testimony of healing. We cannot keep on talking about the slavery that you and I of today, we have not suffered. We are only now referring it as a story in a book. I'm not undermining those who have gone through it. But I'm saying it's time now we live for what they've left us to do. They died for us. They travel for us. to an extent. I'm actually happy that they've made us realize and see our masters as they are. Let me just put something in there a little bit. If you understand that there's so many human rights things get talked about when it comes to Africa, so many things that are of national interest, but you never hear anyone being crucified for the crimes that took place at that time of slavery. I've never heard of it. I've never read a book that says so and so was crucified because of the help or his participant in that exercise. It's now called human trafficking now. What was it called then? Just ask yourself. But today is not about that. We're going to come back on that on another day. Me to we, fix the village. I'm talking about if you have made it. I'm now speaking to diasporians now. 2024, 25, 23, a lot of people have moved around. There's so much migration has taken place to an extent that here in UK where I am, the British are not happy with the migrants. They are trying by all means to make sure no more people come through their borders. But if you are the one that have come and you've seen, you've opened your eyes, not only have you opened your eyes, you come for economical benefits and you are actually making the money. I urge you, this is not your home. Make sure you are doing something back into your village. Stop complaining about the government. The government does not build the country. We as people, we as the villagers, we build our own countries. Let's start to modernize our villages. Let's start to talk and embrace our culture as Ubuntu. I made a mistake in my life that I didn't take my kids back home as much as I could. But now that I can, I'm making the purpose, I'm making the chore that I make sure my kids have experienced the loving and the caring and the cultural of my country. So please, if you are from the diaspora and you are from a small town, don't try and change the country. I'm not trying to go and supply the whole electricity in your country, but I bet you can supply some solar panels into your village to light up your village center, to light up that school, to light up that clinic. You can. Only you can start, but start with rising your village. That was my episode 4. I talked about, we remember Africa greatness was always in collective. We always done things together. Ubuntu was our power. Individual success without community impact is incomplete. You can't want to be the only one guy who comes in a city and has got money and has got things, and you are happy that because you have the money, you look like a king, you walk like a king, but the rest of the people are suffering. We confronted distrust. So many things happening in our own people as black people. We don't even trust our own brothers, trust our own sisters, trust our own mothers. To an extent, trust our parents. What colonial masters have done to us, they've made sure that we turn against each other. It's very difficult and very difficult to find 3-4 brothers from African descent coming together to build a massive company that is going to probably install power in Zimbabwe, power in Angola, power in Joburg. It's difficult just because we don't even trust each other to start such companies. So what we do is we start small companies instead of bringing money together and build a one giant company that can supply solar or pump water from dams or anything. Because we lack distrust, isolation. You want to do it by yourself. You don't want to do it with others. Ego-driven success. That needs to change. And we committed to the new wealth. If the village is broken, no one is truly successful. So I'm urging you, next year, let's go and build our villages. We have always been built as Africans. We have always been built on Ubuntu. on togetherness, collectiveness. Even the term that says a son is raised by the village, it came from that. That is not gone away, it's still there. Let's not modernize our culture. Let's not compromise our ethos, compromise where we come from. I hope you are enjoying the conversation as much as I'm enjoying it myself. In my episode 5, I said after we do all this, we need healing. The inner world, healing. We spoke about emotional silence in African homes, unhealed trauma passed down as culture, pain disguised as discipline, forgiveness without truth. We, in that episode, please go and find it, we discovered unhealed people build broken systems. It's like saying two bad parents, they rarely produce a president. They rarely produce a good kid. It's the same thing. African homes, some of you are not healed. We can only rise Africa economically, have the bullet trains, have the modest, modern, whatever, without actually emotionally and mentally and spiritually healed. We need all those things so that our next generation can go unscathed, can actually enjoy this so-called Africa's wealth that I am in my 40-something years have not seen. What they mean by that. From talk to structure, we talk about, that's episode 6. We talk about talk to structure, real partnerships. I said, go out there, 2026, make it a habit, make it a chore that in 2026 I'm going to partner with someone to start a business, or already a business that you feel like is lacking in its injection. Go and knock on their door and say, listen, I have some money, you have a business, can we join venture? Can we work together? We don't lack ideas as Africans. We've got plenty of them, plenty of ideas. But we lack trust. We lack collaboration. We lack systems. And I'm challenged this mindset if I do it alone and replace it with shared vision, shared ownership, and shared legacy. Let's build together. Let's do it together. Let's do it together. Let's build together. Let's have a shared vision. A vision that is for the mass. A vision for the village. We can only build our own villages. By building a village by village, we are building the country. I'll be right back. Stay tuned. And we are back. We also talked in episode 7 about glorifying a stamped visa on your passport. We have so many intelligent people leaving our continent. They could be from anywhere in Africa, hitting Europe, America, Asia, China. One thing we are forgetting, not realizing as well, is if we keep on trading our skills and our expert to other countries, we are not going to really grow. If our young people keep on leaving the continent, technically we're not going to grow. Because the young people are the one now into these IT infrastructures, are building our IT infrastructures, into these AI things coming up now. So if these young people, the intelligence ones keep leaving, for example, I talk about our health sector, where nurses and doctors are leaving for other countries that are in the West or the East. That is also a problem. We should stop glorifying the visas that are stamped in our passports. One might say you are saying that because you're sitting well in Europe. I've learned. For example, I've been to my country 4 times in this 2025. So I've learned. I'm talking to those ones who are still looking to go away. There's a means and there's a way. These days also, don't forget you can work online for any company in the world. You don't need to physically come to Europe anymore. You can work for European country whilst you are still back home with the improvement of Elon Musk, Starlink now and internet and everything. You can work. Let's utilize that. Let's be smart. Let's take the money back into our country. Just a food for thought. I thought I'll share that with you. We are busy building foreign economies while abandoning our homes. We honor immigration, but rejecting abandonment. We said, don't build to escape, build to transform. That was in our episode 7. In 8, I'm going to talk about what this year taught. What's the bigger picture? What have you learned in this particular year? What have you learned in all the episodes that I have given this year? I personally have learned mindset, healing, action, collaboration, and legacy. You cannot build without clarity. You cannot lead without healing. You cannot scale without people. You cannot transform Africa without ownership. Let's go and own what is ours, own the mines, own the land. It's about time that we start to own things. You realize in Europe, where I am anyway, for example, in UK, someone who starts a job 2 years, 3 years, the first thing they get told is buy your house. You're nobody if you have not owned where you live. That is the message I'm leaving you for 2026. I'm going to try and find out let's look in 2026. What's the call? What am I saying to you guys as we enter this new year in Rise With Us? It's not just a podcast. It's a mindset movement, a leadership space, a call to builders, not spectators. 26 is the year of fewer conversations, more structures, fewer excuses, more execution, fewer solo wins, more collective impact, collective collaborations. The rise is no longer theoretical, it is now practical. We are going to start doing 2026. I'm going to make sure I've come up here, I've speak to people who are doing across the country, the continent. I want to speak to you from Nigeria who is doing it. I want to speak to you from Zambia who is doing it. I want to speak to you from Mozambique who is doing it. I also want to speak to you in the diaspora who is doing it. I'll leave that door open for you. But my message and my closing statement for 2026. In this year, if this year changed how you think, good. If it challenged your comfort, then it's good. If it made you uncomfortable, even better. Because growth begins with discomfort. As we step into 2026, remember this: positive mind, positive future. We don't rise alone, we rise each other. This is Rise With Us, and the rise is only just begun. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I see you in 2026. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.